there are still so many questions about what happened in Iowa, and our Tom Llamas was in the room in Iowa as officials there apologized. So Tom, just to start us off, give us a sense of the anatomy of a botched caucus, if you will, how this all played out.
Lindsay, good evening. Well, it all played out. At first, things seemed to be going pretty well. People were wrapping up the caucuses. At first, over the first 2 hours, it looked like things were right on schedule. And then suddenly, the precinct chairman started realizing they couldn't report the data that was coming in from the more than 1,600 precincts all across the Hawkeye state. Now, there was a backup. There was a phone bank that they could call these results in. The problem was they didn't man enough phones, and the wait times were longer than an hour. So, coupled with the discrepancies in the app, because there seemed to be a coding problem with the app, all of that sort of convoluted and got all mixed in together. It snowballed into just what was the biggest political catastrophe Iowa has seen in a long time. The problem here, Lindsay, is that they've had problems the last two caucus go-arounds. Last time around, the Democratic caucus here with Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders. Hillary Clinton winning with a razor-thin margin. And then just before that, Rick Santorum came out on top. But because it was so close again, because of reporting discrepancies, he really couldn't ride that wave of momentum into New Hampshire. People here are confused. They were upset. It still remains the biggest political mystery in the Democratic world right now. It's still unclear who exactly won the Iowa caucuses. They are reporting some results, but only 62% of the state. We're coming on 24 hours, Lindsay, since the voting started almost, and we still don't have a declared winner in Iowa. And that makes a lot of people, especially the campaigns, the campaign volunteers, the staffers who put so much time into this state, more than a year's worth of work. And right now, they really have nothing to show for it. Right,
and as you just said, the candidate's putting so much into Iowa, but there's been a lot of discussion today whether the entire caucus system is obsolete and should be ended. How are Iowans on the ground reacting to that?
Well, look, I can tell you this from when we were reporting last night over 5 hours right here on ABC News Live. We were hearing from our Democratic sources, our entire team. People were frustrated. The campaigns were upset. Elected officials were upset. The heads of the DNC were upset. And they really blamed the local party here in Iowa. But the chairman came out here. He took full responsibility. He said this is unacceptable. It's interesting. We were, working around Iowa today, going around and just little things like going to lunch or grabbing coffee. And people would talk to us. We would talk to some of the locals, and they'd say, do you guys know anything? They were curious as well, and I think they were upset. And I have spoken to some Iowa party officials, people who work in Democratic politics here, and they're clearly frustrated because they love being the first in the nation. They love the attention they get because maybe the mainstream media doesn't cover this part of the country as much as they should. Yes, Iowa is not the most diverse state, so maybe it's not the best state for Democrats, but it is the middle of the country. People here have certain values. They have farmers here. There's different industries here. So it gave Iowa sort of this upper hand in the political process. They had this favorability scale. They were able to come here and get attention. And if they take away the Iowa caucus as being the first in the nation, it's going to be really tough on the voters here, and it will change the process because, as Alex Castellanos, one of our panelists, said yesterday, it makes candidates better because they have to come here, Lindsay. They have to speak, but they also have to listen. They have to do several events. They have to spend time here with real people, and they constantly are campaigning over a year. It's not like you can just fly in, give a speech, and fly out. Sometimes people do that. Donald Trump tried to do that. He ended up losing the Iowa caucus. You actually have to be disciplined. You have to be on message, and you have to press that flesh, meet the Iowans here, get to know them, and really sell yourself. And the person who wins the Iowa caucus doesn't always win the presidential race, but at least the focus is here, and they hear what people really want. The number one issue for Iowans, wrapping up for the polls, of course, was health care. Lindsay?
But no doubt the debate is going to continue to ramp up about whether or not Iowa should continue to go first. Tom Llamas in Iowa, thank you very much for that.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.